I heard it go.
Yeah.
Do it. See?
Ah! They got you?
Yeah.
Friends, it's moving day. It is time to move these baby chicks out to pasture. They are 3 weeks old tomorrow, and they have gotten plenty big enough, and it is plenty warm enough. I don't need heat lamps for them anymore, so we can move them on out. And we'll just keep an extra eye on them for the next couple days while they're in the electric fencing. Alright, so that is the last of the meat birds we're putting in right now. I've got a big trash can, that's what we put all their feed in, and keep it close to them because they eat a lot. Let's see how they're doing.
They're going out?
Yep. This is what I was afraid of putting them out right now because they are still small enough they can get through this electric fencing. We don't have it hooked up right now. We just wanted to get them out here first. We're gonna go ahead and put on the electric fencing, and they've got all this room, but yet they want to go outside the fence line. Go figure. They just like to be complicated. Every year, they just want to be complicated. Everybody is in the fence and doing good. Hubby and Jake ended up touching the fence. I was touching it, not feeling anything other than just a little zap, nothing much. Both of them didn't have shoes on and they decided to touch it, and man, did it give them a jolt. They said, yes, it's working. But yet, the chicken's over there laying on the fence and nothing is happening to them. So I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully they stay in here. We will keep an eye on them every 30 minutes to an hour. Come out and check on them, make sure they're doing good. The dogs cannot get down here, so we will have to keep an eye on them. But it feels good to get them out of that small area because it was starting to stink. And I need to go in there and clean it out and get it ready for our next batch of meat birds. That'll probably be coming in about a month and a half. All right, friends, so it is 7:45 and it's time to go ahead and start locking up everything. We're gonna go ahead and lock up the meat birds first. Let's see how they did on their first half day outside on pasture.
You got one? Put her down. Let her eat it.
Did you turn it off the...
You turned off the fence? You just went in there? I just jumped over.
Ah, no.
All right, this is the hardest part of the day, is trying to get these birds to go inside. They're not the smartest or brightest, and they take forever to get inside. So, roundup time. All right, they got inside. It helps when you've got 2 extra hands, technically 4 extra hands helping you out. The kids are here helping us out, so with the kids here, it makes it a lot easier.
It shouldn't hurt you.
Same time.
It's not that, it's the wire that...
Okay, well, Dad, touch it.
It's not shocking you? That's straight.
I felt a little bit, but...
Go on your barefoot
Hey,
then.
fuck no.
Dad, you do it. Touch it.
No.
Nuh-uh.
That one.
Both at the same time?
No.
That one, not. Which one?
That one.
Well, I heard it go.
Yeah.
Do it. See?
Ah! They got you?
Yeah.
What do you think, little boy? Huh? Little boy? All right, friends, so we're gonna do a quick little garden tour. We are in the big garden right now. Half of it is covered by this weed barrier, which makes it so much easier because I'm gonna show you right now what it would look like if I didn't have weed barrier down. I'd have to be in here constantly digging out all of these weeds because they are insane. This is the other half of the garden that does not have weed barrier. You see that? This is insane. This is the cover crop that comes up every year in the garden when I plant. So this weed barrier has been a huge success for me, and it also has helped with the heat that we've been having. It has allowed moisture to stay inside for these plants a whole lot better than it has on the outside. Let me show you what I mean. Here I've got some tomato plants that I planted in the weed barrier, and you can see how great these plants look. They are not dehydrated at all. They look really healthy. Let me show you. Now on the outskirts of my weed barrier, I was gifted a whole bunch. I think it was 21 tomato plants. And they were already super, super big in pots, so I had to upplant them and put them into the garden. And I'm going to show you how those look. I have to come in here constantly and water them every single day, because if I don't, they look pretty pathetic. And I have a few on the end that are looking pretty pathetic. And as you can see, there's tons of weeds that have just come up right around these tomato plants. So I'm gonna have to be in here pretty regularly pulling out all these weeds so that they don't overtake my tomato plants, because they will quickly overtake my tomato plants before too long. So those are my tomatoes that are on the outside. I've got them over there and over there all along the edge of my weed barrier. Now let me show you what else I got growing here in the big garden. Here I've got some cucumber plants. They're doing really good. See little cucumbers starting on them. All my squash plants are on the outsides because these are gonna get super big. This is a pumpkin plant, I'm sure. Either that or a spaghetti squash. Got a zucchini in here. You can see my little zucchini. And more crooked neck squash or summer squash. All along there are my summer squashes. And I've got some more planted right there as well. I've got some zucchini here that I'm gonna go ahead and plant in these other spots that are vacant. We do love squash here, and if we don't eat it, Mr. Haggard over there loves squash, and so do the pigs, or the chickens. So we grow a lot of squash because it helps feed us and it helps feed the animals. Can't go wrong with free food. Now this all looks like a bunch of weeds, but this is actually my potato patch. All down there, this is all potatoes, and they're doing really good. They've already flowered, the flowers have died back, which means all these potato plants should start dying back pretty soon as well. Once they do start dying back, it's time to harvest. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a quick time lapse. It is nice and cool. It's probably about 7 o'clock in the evening. This is the best time to get out here and do stuff in the garden. It is way too hot and humid to be doing it any other time of the day. So here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a quick time lapse while I get the rest of these squash and pumpkin plants planted in the ground. I am all done. Got those all planted, and I did water some of them down. I've got some hard-boiled eggs here that I'm going to go ahead and feed to Haggard because he absolutely loves hard-boiled eggs. So let me see if I can call him and if he'll come over. Haggard! Haggard! Come on! Come on, sir! Come on, sir! Come on! He enjoyed that treat. Didn't you, sir? He's cute. All right, so we'll go ahead and head over to the backyard garden. I'll do a quick tour over there for you guys. Bye, Haggard. All right, so over here in the backyard garden, let me show you first what I've got growing over here, and that is my sweet potatoes. They're doing really good, and I think they're gonna look really pretty when they really vine out a lot right here. Had to put up this fence to keep the chickens and the dogs out of there because they love to go up in here and dust bathe, and just, it's nice and cool spot, so can't really blame them. So I went ahead and put that up. Now let's go ahead and walk into the backyard garden. My trellis that I have right here as my front door is getting pretty overtaken by my cucumber plants, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm training them to go up and around. So hopefully when I walk through here in the middle of summer, I'll be able to just pick some cucumbers off the top of the trellis. Got the cucumbers on all sides. I've got 2 plants on each side to hopefully go all the way up and around that trellis. Now directly over here, I've got right back there, hidden back there, is my artichoke plants. I've got 2 artichoke plants there, and then my big sunflower that's right here, my tomatoes, and then back there I've got my zinnias. This is herbs. I've got thyme right there, and I planted holy basil here. So I'm really fingers crossed that the holy basil starts coming up. And I've got my tomatoes. These are sweet, husky cherry tomatoes. None that are ripe yet, but lots of fruit. All along the fence line right here, I've got planted all my tomatoes. I've got over here, these are my Roma tomatoes because I make a lot of tomato sauce and tomato paste. You want Romas. So I've got all Roma tomatoes back here in this backyard garden. All these are Romas as well, and they're doing really good. Look at those amazing clusters. And I've got those on almost all of these tomato plants. They've got awesome little clusters of tomatoes. Here I've got a really big sunflower. You can see at the very top. This one's huge. It's got a lot of little sunflowers on it, so this is going to be really pretty when it starts blooming. More of my tomato plants. Next, all down here on the bottom, these are all my pepper plants, and they range from sweet red peppers to hot, spicy cayenne peppers. Love my peppers. There's a lot of stuff that I make with all these peppers. So what I've been going through is taking off all of the peppers that have started because these are still really small, and I want to make sure that they focus on root growth and growing the plants, so that way next month I will have a really good harvest of different peppers instead of little peppers here and there because my pepper plant is just too small. And I can show you a couple of them that I picked off the peppers. It's grown significantly. This is my poblano peppers, and it used to look like that about a week ago. That's how it looked. And I started picking off all the peppers that were on there, and look at how much it's grown from that to that. So I'm gonna let these two go ahead and start growing peppers now because they are plenty big enough and they'll continue to grow. I see one snuck away from me right there, and this one is my jalapeno. Back here I've got all my grapevines along this fence right here, and I've got a few clusters of grapes that have started. This is going to be the first year of them producing grapes, so I'm not expecting a whole lot from them, but I am getting a few clusters, which is nice. And I did put them in these little baggies to kind of protect them from bugs and birds eating them. On the outside over here, I've got some bigger clusters that are out there and right here. But hubby and I were talking, and we're actually going to extend the fence that way with trellises on top so that I can let my grapes go ahead and grow on top of the trellises and climb out that way versus along the fence line because they're getting kind of overtaken over here, and I think they need to go more that way. Over here we've got my onions. They're doing I had all of my lettuces planted in here, so I think the lettuce was overtaking the nutrients and the sun away from these plants, so they didn't do as well as I thought they would. So lesson learned, I will put these in their own bed next year instead of plant them with my lettuces. Over here I've got my dill that has gone to seed. I've got some lavender down here. One little marigold that made it. I planted marigolds back in March and we got a late frost in April. Killed all of them except for this one. It came back. But the other ones are looking pretty good. Another sunflower just volunteered right there. Over here I've got watermelon growing here, there, and there. This one is just kind of, I think it's done. And then I've got some flowers that I planted in there. I'm just waiting for them to pop up and I will plant them. My sweet basil. So watermelon and sweet basil. I hear that's a good combination. We will find out. My mint has completely taken over here. There are a few flowers in here as well. There's some cosmos, and I've got some zinnias planted back there. Here I've got some more watermelons that are planted, and my goal is that they're just going to take off and go up the fence and then around. I will tame them to that. Hopefully this year we will get some watermelon. And then here we've got more zinnias. These are my absolute favorite flower right now is zinnias and sunflowers. All right, friends, and that's our backyard garden tour. I'm going to go ahead and start watering all these plants that I have back here. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us today, friends. Until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. As always, I hope all is well, and have a blessed day.